Brawick Court School. What are you going to do today? Learn, enjoy, succeed. Welcome to Assembly. It is Wednesday, the 1st of July today, and we are going to talk about a very famous person called Martin Luther King. But before we do that, we have got a birthday to celebrate. Happy birthday to Oliver Robertson. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Oliver. Happy birthday to you. Hope you have a brilliant day, Oliver. I happen to know that you're having a hot dog party, which sounds incredible, so I hope you really enjoy it. Right then, I've got a little quiz for you, of course, and when I looked to put this assembly together, I googled some questions and I thought, I wonder if we could do something a bit different. So actually, I have got 5 questions that I have made up. The answers to all of your questions today are going to be a member of staff from Brawick Court School. So it might be a teacher, might be a member of support staff. Let's find out how much you know. I haven't got my clicker today because Willow class have pinched it for the hall. So, number 1, who has a dog called Eddie? Number 2, who used to teach in China? Number 3, who used to work at Domino's Pizza and Legoland? Number 4, who has twins? Number 5, last one, who had their trip to Disneyland cancelled this summer? 5 questions. If you're not sure, have a guess. Okay, we'll give you the answers at the end. So we're going to talk about somebody called Martin Luther King. He's very famous, lived quite a long time ago. This is a very famous quote of something that he said. And a big thanks to Harry in Willow class, because he has lent me some brilliant books that he got for his birthday that are all about different famous people. And this one is all about Martin Luther King. So I've chosen this one to use for one of our assemblies. I'm going to give you a little bit of information about Martin Luther King, and then we're going to have a look at Harry's book. So here's a picture of Martin Luther King Jr. And there are some vocabulary, some pieces of, some special words that might help you to know while we're having a look at this information today. So one of them is segregation, which means separation or keeping people apart. Another one is boycott. So if you boycott something, it means you avoid it as a means of protest. So you stop doing something to get your point across. And the third one is discrimination, unfair treatment because of race, ethnicity, gender or age. So can you think of an assembly that we've had recently that it sounds as though this might be related to? So this is following on really from our theme about Black Lives Matter. So Martin Luther King lived a long time ago. When does it tell us when he lived? Here we go. Martin Luther King was born on January the 15th, 1929 in Atlanta, Georgia. So about 90 odd years ago. And he was one of the first people to campaign for things to be fair between black people and white people, because all that time ago things were not very fair at all, and there was a lot of segregation in their community in America, where white people and black people were kept very separate. They weren't allowed to go to the same school, they weren't allowed to travel on the same buses, they weren't allowed to sit on the same benches or use the same toilets or go to the same shops. So he was very influential in starting to make this change towards what we were talking about the other day, the Black Lives Matter campaign. So here's some interesting facts about him. So that's where he grew up, that's Atlanta, which is in the United States of America. And he was so smart that he skipped 2 grades in school. That means 2 years. So that means that he might have been the right age to have been in year 2, but they'd have jumped him up into year 4, so he was a very clever man. So Martin Luther King wrote a really important speech that was delivered and is very famous, known as the I Have a Dream speech. And we're going to find out a little bit more about him by looking at Harry's book. So, Little Martin was a spiritual boy from Atlanta who came from a long line of preachers. His dad was a preacher, his uncle was a preacher, his grandfather was a preacher. Maybe he would become a preacher too. One day, a friend invited him over to play. Martin was shocked when he was asked to leave because he was black. That day, he realised something terrible was going on. So remember, this was a long time ago, but in those days, that might happen. You might not be able to play with somebody who had a different colour skin to you. This terrible thing was called segregation. It meant that public places like restaurants and buses had separate spaces for black and white people. Martin and his friend were sent to different schools. Martin believed that one shouldn't remain silent or accept something if it's wrong. He promised himself that when he grew up, he'd fight injustice with the most powerful weapon of all. What do you think the most powerful weapon of all is? This says here, the most powerful weapon of all is words. Really great way to get your point across, and we talked about that, didn't we, about peaceful protests. Martin studied at universities in Georgia, Pennsylvania and Massachusetts, where he read about Mahatma Gandhi, the man who had improved the lives of millions of Indians with peaceful methods of protest. When he finished his studies, Martin moved to Alabama and became the pastor of a church in Montgomery. Every Sunday, from his pulpit, he encouraged his congregation to speak about things that mattered. One evening, a woman called Rosa was arrested for refusing to give up her seat to a white man on a bus. Martin asked the people in his community not to take the bus again until the law was changed. I'm going to show you some information about Rosa Parks in a minute because I thought that was really interesting. But off the back of what happens to Rosa, then Martin Luther King starts a peaceful protest. Many citizens were inspired by Rosa's story and Martin's words. Suddenly, buses were almost empty. They stayed empty for more than a year until segregation on Montgomery's buses finally ended. It was the first major civil rights action in America, but not the last. Martin encouraged people all over the country to stand up for their rights and join in with the peaceful protest. They were often attacked and Martin was arrested 29 times, but he and his followers never fought back with force. He knew that hate can't drive out hate, only love can. Martin helped organise a protest march on Washington where he gave a life-changing speech. It began with 4 simple yet powerful words: I have a dream. The next year, Martin became the youngest person to win the Nobel Peace Prize. His words of hope, peace and justice called a nation to change its laws and make them equal for everyone. What an important thing to do. And if you listen to your heart, you can still hear little Martin asking you to keep his dream alive. A dream of a world where we are judged by our character, not by the colour of our skin. We know that's really important, don't we? Great. So, thank you, Harry. Really great book and a really good way of finding out about a really interesting and very influential person. Now, in here it talked about somebody called Rosa Parks, so we're going to find out a little bit about her as well. Here we go, Rosa Parks. Who was she and what difference did she make? As a child, Rosa experienced a lot of racism and saw how black and white people were separated by law. She attended a secondary school for black children. They all had to walk to school, while the white children attended their own school and were provided with a bus to get there. At this time in history, many other things in society were also segregated. At bus stops at this time, there had to be 2 lines of people, one for black people and one for white people, and the white people got to sit on a bench. This was so that when the bus arrived, the white people could take the seats at the front of the bus first. Then the black people could get on and use any free seats at the back of the bus. The event that made history. On December the 1st, 1955, after a long day at work, Rosa boarded the bus home and sat in the first row of seats intended for black people. By the time the bus reached its 3rd stop, all the white-only seats were full. Rosa and 3 other black people were sitting in the front row of the black section of the bus. So the white bus driver stepped back into the bus to tell Rosa and the 3 other black people to move back to give their seats to the white people. So even though they were the seats that they were supposed to be sitting on, they were told that they had to move. Rosa refused to move. After being asked to move by the white bus driver, the other 3 black people moved further back in the bus to give the white people their seats. However, Rosa moved to the side and not to the back. The driver told Rosa that if she did not move back, he would call the police, and she told the driver to do just that. So he did. So what she did was very brave, wasn't it? Because although now we can't imagine that something like that would happen, where you would segregate people because of the colour of their skin. But all that time ago when this happened, actually that is what used to happen. But Rosa stood up against that and said, no, I don't agree with that, even though the driver said he would call the police. So why do you think she didn't move? Well, this is what she says. Rosa did not feel she should have to move. She was feeling more and more angry about the unfair segregation that had been happening to black people. Rosa felt that black people in society were being treated differently to white people, and she was right, wasn't she? In some situations, people were also being injured or killed. In her autobiography, do you know what an autobiography is? It's when you write about yourself. In her autobiography, she wrote, "People always say I didn't give up my seat because I was tired, but that isn't true. I was not tired physically, or no more tired than I usually was at the end of a working day. I was not old, although some people have an image of me as being old then. I was 42. No, the only tired I was tired of giving in." What happened next? Indeed, the bus driver did go and call the police, and Rosa was arrested. 3 of Rosa's friends bailed her out of prison the next day and set to work on organising a bus boycott. And that's what it talked about in Harry's book, where black people would refuse to use any buses until... On December the 5th, 1955, Rosa was charged with violating a local ordinance, breaking the rules, and disorderly conduct, which means causing trouble. And she was found guilty and fined just for sitting on the wrong seat on a bus. The bus boycott. The bus boycott was supported by the black community and also some white people who were growing tired of the unfair treatment of black people in their community. For 381 days, 40,000 people did not use the buses in Rosa's home city of Montgomery. They found other ways to get to work or simply walked to show their support to the cause. There were so many people involved that this could not be ignored. It was noticed by the newspapers and the rest of America. A victory for Rosa. Eventually, the government noticed and finally laws were passed to remove segregation from buses. The boycott officially ended on December the 20th, 1956. It went on for a really long time. Even though segregation was still in place in many other areas of society, such as restrooms and public buildings, this was a victory for equality, and we talked about equality, didn't we? Equality is to do with making sure that everybody is treated equally. It made a significant start to improving the rights of black people in society. So Rosa and Martin Luther King in Harry's book were really important people in society, weren't they? So really great to find out about those, and thank you for lending those to us, Harry. That was fab. Let's give you the answers to these quiz questions. How do you think you did? Question 1. Who has a dog called Eddie? Mrs. Nash. Question 2. Who used to teach in China? Mr. Morris. Question 3. Who used to work at Domino's Pizza and Legoland? That was me. I had lots of jobs before I was a teacher, but those 2 were my favourites. And what number are we on? 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 4, who has twins? Mrs. Elstock has got 2 twin girls who are grown up now. And number 5, who had their trip to Disneyland cancelled this summer? Poor old Mrs. Robertson. Hopefully we are going to finish with a song. I'm not going to record it now. I'm going to wait to see if some of you come and tell me that you are brilliant at doing these songs so that you can join in, and I'll put that recording at the end for you. Okay, so I've come into Maple 2 to film our song today. They're going to do One Call Away. Say hi, everyone.
Hi!
Okay, let me just hit go.
One call away, I'll be there to save the day. Superman got nothing on me. I'm only one call away. Call me, baby, if you need a friend. I just wanna give you love. Reaching out to you, so take a chance. Wherever you go, know you're not alone. I'm only one call away. I'll be there to save the day. Superman got nothing on me. I'm only one call away. Come along with me and don't be scared. I just wanna set you free. Come on, come on, come on. You don't need to make it anywhere. For now, you can stay for a while. Tonight, I just wanna see you smile. No matter where you go, you know you're never alone. I'm only one call away. I'll be there to save the day. Superman got nothing on me. I'm only one call away. And when you're weak, I'm strong. I'm gonna keep holding on. Don't you walk alone. Before the hope is gone, just hold me to my arms. I'm only one call away. I'll be there to save the day. Superman got nothing on me. I'm only one. I'll be there to save the day. Superman got nothing on me. I'm only one call away. I'm only one call away.
Woohoo! Well done. Give yourselves a clap, Maple 2. You're awesome.